Welcome to another episode on Srilingo. In 2023, the film Gangubai Kathiawadi won 5 national awards. Many of you must have watched the film, gone home feeling sad for what the central character had to go through until you saw the next film, right? And then the Gangubai Kathiawadi was somewhere at the back of your mind. Well, modern day slavery, or what you call prostitution, is far more concerning than what a movie has to offer. Today, I have Pallabi Ghosh with me. She is the founder of Impact and Dialogue Foundation, which works for the prevention of prostitution and also helps in the rehabilitation of women who are trafficked into prostitution by helping them lead normal lives in society again. Pallavi, welcome to Strilingo. And thank you very much for giving me time to do this podcast with you. First of all, as a fellow woman, let me tell you how proud I am for the kind of work that you're doing. Many of us just have normal corporate jobs, but what you are doing is far more meaningful, impactful, and you're leaving your mark every day by the kind of work that you're doing. So welcome to Strilingo.
Thank you, Smita, for calling me. And I don't agree with what you say about, people in corporate not making a difference. I think we all do what is in our capacity and we all try to accomplish a lot of things. I think what you do, I could not have done that. And what I do, you will not be able to do. So I think we all are unique in our own ways.
That's just your humility. I am going to start. I am going to start by asking you, Pallavi, why did you choose this profession? Why did you choose to do something like this? Let's start there.
See, to be very honest, I did not realize that I'll end up becoming an anti-trafficking activist or starting an organization because, of course, coming from middle-class families, most parents, if the child is very bright, wants to either, force the child or whatever, try to convince the child to go for medical engineering or maybe CA, studying law, being a professor. It was the same with my family also. They really wanted me to be a professor. The reason is that because I had taken humanities English, but there was something. You can say that whatever I do now, it kind of happened organically over the years. Like I'm 33 now. Like 21 years back, I had visited Bengal in one of my cousins. So my cousin was getting married in Kolkata, and I had never visited Howrah before that. So I went to Howrah, and there was this. I still remember the cook, and I was quite a talkative child, and I used to talk to the cook a lot. And the cook was like, "You are here for a month. Why don't you accompany me to my village?" And everybody was like, "What will you do in the village?" And she was like, "No, you talk a lot, so perhaps you could talk and everything." So when I went to the village, our village was in Bengal, which is known as Lokikantapur. It's quite a popular thing on the when you start from Kolkata and when you are on the way to Canning, you will find that village. It's a green board and it's South 24 Parganas. So I went to our village. For the first 3 days, 4 days, things were very fine. People were very big, very happy to see me because I was wearing a frock and I talked different. I was playing with boys more, with marbles and everything. So things went fine. On the fifth day, there was this man early morning at around 5 o'clock. By the way, in East India, mornings are around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Like if I go to Assam, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. So I went there, and then there's this man wearing a lungi and a gamcha and saying that my daughter is missing, and he was howling and crying across the village. Now, I honestly speaking, I was 12. It didn't bother me at all. I didn't care. Also, I'm like, इसको फर्क पड़ता है. We don't care. None of us care. WhatsApp में इतना forward आता है missing में किसी लड़की का like this girl looks like this height. She's wearing a green chappal, red dress. Like all the specifications is there in WhatsApp, outside offices, so many posters. We don't care. None of us do. I'm not telling about you or somebody else. It's about me also. We don't care. So it didn't bother me. But he kept coming and telling me. But the next morning, like on the sixth day, he came to me and he was like, if your father was searching for you, what would you have done? I don't know what affected me. It kind of, was like a nail on the coffin. I was like, because my father used to stay in Kanpur, and I was like, I was really bogged down with this thing. And I was like, that time also I was not searching about the girl, thinking about the girl. My concern was like, see, I come from a very small railway town known as Lamding. So even if now I go in the village, the first question that everybody asks is like, when did you come? When will you go? Like, okay, you have grown fat or you have grown thin, small towns. Everybody's bothered about everything. So how is it possible that a girl has vanished in thin air? There's one exit and entry of the village and nobody knows about it. It was quite surprising. So what I did is that started asking the man ki kya hua, kotha hai apnar mein and all that, and he was like, I don't know and all that. I started talking to a lot of people, and then a lot of people said that it's a frequent thing. A lot of people go missing. So now instances like this happen. I started figuring out what happens to missing children. A lot of people laughed at me because everybody is concerned about bigger crimes, murder, dacoity, rape. Nobody bothered about this. Things like this happened over the years, but the biggest breakthrough was when I was in my college. I was talking to my mother in Bengali, and there was this girl who was continuously following me. So this was in Delhi, okay. And she came to me and she asked me, what language are you speaking? I'm like, Bengali. And then she was like, this language is spoken by a huge group of girls and women in my village. And I'm like, village, Bengali is a very common language. Anybody. Then she was like, no, you don't understand. I'm from northern India and I've come from a very remote village in Haryana. And I requested her, could you take me to your village? And she got to know from the college that I do a lot of intervention investigation. She got scared and she did not tell me. After pulling a lot of strings, I went to one of the village. And then when I entered the village, I see all the women wearing this silver kada, gale, made these things. Most of them are Haryani wearing those, what you call coins, neck piece and everything. I'm like, I told the girl who took me, I'm like, kaha le aaye? Where did you get me? There's a lot of people sitting here and everybody's speaking and everybody's speaking in Hindi. Like, these are not Bengali girls. And then she was like, Pallavi, talk in Bengali. Then I just asked a very simple thing in Bengali, like, Kamo nacho, like, how are you? From the group, this was when I was in graduation, okay? Like after 7-8 years, a good 8 years, from 12 to 20. And then she told me, Didi, apni Bengali? She asked me, that girl, like, are you Bengali? Yeah, I'm a Bengali, but I'm not from Bengal, I'm from Assam. And then she's like, Didi, I'm from Nodia. Nodia is a district in Bengal. And I'm like, so how come you're here? She's like, Didi, when I was 13, I visited the local fair. I went to a mela and I wanted to eat lal baro. I wanted to eat red gola. I went there, but my heart was in doodh baro, like milk ice cream. And I was peeping here and there, and then I was like, kahin se wo doodh baraaf mil jaye. And she said that the lal baraaf was 50 paise, the doodh baraaf was 2 rupees. One boy saw that she was really very, interested to have that white baraaf. So he bought her that. And she was reluctant initially, but he was like, nah, nah, she took it. So she had it, they became friends, they started talking, they used to meet in different places. That time phone was not there. He used to gift her earring and everything. And by that time, the boy had kind of done a background check of the girl's family. Like, where did she come from? Who was in the family? Whether there was poverty, whether there was vulnerability or not. Finally, the boy lured her and they fell in love. And the boy was like, we will go to Delhi and get married. And she was like, I never sat in a train. And then he was like, Nana, you can. So he told her, you take a train and you come to Sialda. So she came to Sialda. There somebody else was waiting. That was the red flag. She should not have accompanied. She accompanied that boy, and both of them came to Howrah. From there, this boy, they came to Delhi. In the meantime, they consumed some tea and samosas and all. She said that she became subconscious, not unconscious. She could see that she was going in a train in a long distance, and finally, she doesn't remember anything. When she opened her eyes, she sees that she's in a room, and there are a lot of goats and bear or bakri around next to her. She wakes up and then she knocks the door. One lady comes and says that, you are married. She was very happy because she thought that she was married to this guy. And then at late night, she's seeing a late 40-year-old man entering her room. And she was like, "Aap kaun hai?" Like in Bengali. And then he was like, you are my wife. And then, so I told her, do you want to be rescued? She was like, no, I am fine here. My husband takes care of her. We have 2 children now. And I will not be able to go home. If I go home, then nobody will take care of me also. And now I have children. So he gives me food. So poverty in North India is different from poverty in East India. In East India, people don't get food. In North India, people get food, but there might be other challenges. So now that is when so many women started coming. Somebody got trafficked in a mela, somebody got trafficked while coming from school, somebody got trafficked while they were on the way to taking ration. Multiple people, same story, some
So,
difference. So then,
do you want to say that do you want to say that multiple stories and similar situations would be that poverty being one of the factors, and because of poverty, the vulnerability that comes with it?
See, it's not about poverty. There are multiple reasons. Poverty is there, and when poverty is there, there is illiteracy, there is unemployment, there is migration, there is domestic violence. Now there is mental health issues because the spouse beats the girl so much, so the girl starts trying to find emotional attachment outside. So this, then there are social and cultural traditions. Also, if you go to East India, there might be poverty in the village, but the roads are exceptionally well made. So you can, exceptionally well highways, state highways, national highways. So it's not difficult for a person to commute from here and there. कोई किसी से कहीं पे भी land से, I'm not telling about flight. मतलब until and unless you reach a railway station, आप कोई टोटो कुछ भी पकड़ सकते हो. So multiple reasons है. So of course, poverty being one of the primary reasons, but also because girls are kept confined. They are not educated. They are kept confined. They are made to be caregivers. So what happens with this? I did a lot of research with different angles. I tried to analyze different angles of trafficking. In one of the angles, I realized that so the father and the mother produce a lot of children. They go out to field for work, but they make the elder daughter or the elder son the caregiver. The child who himself wants care, you are making a caregiver. So now they're looking for that kind of affection outside. So these are the primary challenges. And then you have to also understand that if somebody is eating salt and rice for months, and if that person gets fish and rice for a day, for 3-4 days, everybody will be bound to uh, trust you. Also, you have to understand, so many people say padhai kyun nahi karte, padhai kyun nahi karte. Education is like a luxury for them. I'm telling you. Of course, there is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and everything, because it's like पढ़ाई करेंगे, अगर खाना मिलेगा तो खाना खा लेंगे, पढ़ाई नहीं करेंगे. Midday meal is also like a luxury, and the level of midday meal that's provided. Government sanctions a lot of money for the midday meal, but in the schools, it's just like water. People don't get. They are supposed to get an egg, a banana, but nobody gets that. They are only getting lentils, and that also kacha lentils, rice, kanda rice. So everything is very much intersectional and interconnected. You cannot say कि हम trafficking में काम करते हैं तो चलो हम लोग employment में नहीं काम करेंगे, education में काम नहीं करेंगे. सब कुछ connected है. कहीं ना कहीं you see 3 basic needs, food, clothing and shelter. ये जब इंसान को नहीं मिलता, जिसको हम अल्ट्रा पॉवर्टी बोलते हैं, तो modern slavery और trafficking तो बहुत बढ़ ही जाएगा. So that's when I realized, and then I completed my graduation, I completed my master's, I did a specialization in trafficking. I started reaching out to MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs, which is the nodal agency for anti-trafficking in India. Nobody kind of, responded to my mail. Finally, one NGO hired me, that also because I knew the source area languages. Bengali, Assami, Odia, Nepali, मुझे आता था. सोर्स एरिया लैंग्वेजेस मतलब ट्रैफिकिंग में 3 जगह होती है. एक जगह जहां से बच्चों को, लड़कों को, लड़कियों को, औरतों को उठाया जाता है, which is source. ट्रांजिट मतलब जैसे क्रॉस करके आप जाते हो, और डेस्टिनेशन मतलब जहां पे उनका बोली होती है, बिकते हैं. सो सोर्स में ज्यादातर ऐसे राज्य है जिनमें बहुत ज्यादा पॉवर्टी, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है. झारखंड हो गया, छत्तीसगढ़ हो गया, आंध्र प्रदेश हो गया, असम हो गया, बंगाल हो गया, आंध्र प्रदेश हो गया, कुछ कुछ मतलब पूरा राज्य नहीं, कुछ कुछ डेस्टिनेशन हो गया, बॉम्बे, चेन्नई, बैंगलोर, दिल्ली, पुणे, सूरत. दिस आर द प्लेसेस. सो ये कहीं ना कहीं इट्स लाइक ए $1 billion इंडस्ट्री, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम है. तो उस एनजीओ में मैंने 5-6-7 साल काम किया. Then I started working with multiple other organizations. But then I started an organization, and why I started my organization, there is also a story behind it. Like why I started an organization. During peak COVID, I had rescued 8 girls from a red light area, and I had gone for their medical examination. This was March 2020. And then someone came to me and told that, our younger brother is COVID positive. And मुझे लगा first wave of COVID में तो किसी बच्चे को नहीं हो रहा था. फिर 1 से 5, 5 से 20 बच्चों को COVID हुआ. फिर इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया, फिर सारे बच्चे मर गए. इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने के बाद पता लगा सबके ऑर्गन्स निकाल के ऑर्गन ट्रैफिकिंग चल रहा था. So then I reached out to a lot of senior people and everything, and everybody was like, we need to file a PIL. So we decided to file a PIL, and everything was done. But then the entire 20 families went absconding. That's when I was like, I cannot, do this alone. I need to have the organization backup behind me. And that's when I started an organization. So that was a brief about, background of why I started the work.
Just now you said, Pallavi, that, when these children got COVID, and then they passed away, and later you got to know that they were victims of organ trafficking because all their organs were taken out from the body. When you tried to reach out to these families, why did these families disappear?
The families disappear because the families were, of course, in these crimes, highly influential people are involved, and no idea why. If I had the answer, then I would have told it. I don't know. I have no idea why. Of course, because my organ trafficking, mein, big people are involved, highly influential people are involved. So there is no black and white. I can't, like, until I have evidence, I can't even say who all are involved. So it's very cliche. It's not easy to say about it.
As like you mentioned right now, that there are places where the women are trafficked from, which are the smaller cities and towns, and then they are brought to the larger cities and towns. Obviously, there's, for somebody who's never left her village or that town that she belongs to get them to another completely new place, there's a long distance, so that prevents them from wanting to run away also. Where will they run? Now, when this happens, Pallavi, you just mentioned that inka boli lagta hai when they are trafficked. Can you throw a little light on what that entails?
See, in trafficking, we only talked about labor trafficking and prostitution, but then there are other layers also. There is forced marriage, there's organ trafficking, there's bride trafficking, there's debt bondage. There are children used for different kinds of, labor work. It can be from working in garment industries to working in, cracker industries, many things. बोली लगता है मतलब, especially अगर मैं prostitution की बात बोलूं, तो जैसे अगर आपने झारखंड से किसी को लाया है, बंगाल से लाया है, छत्तीसगढ़ में लाया है, तो फिर वहां पे ये होगा कि कौन खरीद सकता है कितने रेट में, 50,000 60,000. सो दैट इज एग्जैक्टली बोली, बिकॉज डिपेंड्स किसका कितना बजट है, कौन इस लड़की को कितने पैसे में मतलब खरीदने के लिए रेडी है.
Okay, all right. And then after the boli, then it could be forced marriage or it could be some sort of bonded.
No. It is mostly like prostitution. In forced marriage, they just quote an amount, they're given and they are taken.
Understood. As a woman, Pallavi, because this is such a sensitive line, this is also a very dangerous line, let's put it like that. It's not everybody's cup of tea. As a woman, do you feel scared sometimes when you go out to rescue people? Because there are so many different kinds of authorities, bodies that you have to be dealing with. There's the police, there are these criminals who are operating in an organized manner. Do you feel scared, Pallavi?
To be very honest, I am not anymore, because I think that it keeps happening. If you keep getting scared, then you will not be able to work. So of course, no. Like, I won't say I am completely scared.
I understand. Let's talk a little bit about rehabilitation. I follow you on LinkedIn, so I keep seeing your posts where you reach out for, providing school bags, providing saris, or maybe somebody is getting married. So how do we arrange like a small giveaway for the bride so that she can start her new life? All those kinds of things. Tell me a little bit about how do you rehabilitate somebody? What is that process, Pallavi?
See, the thing is that we are extremely against this fact of getting girls married, because we personally think that, we want to make them empowered. So our primary rehabilitation is, all the survivors or at-risk girls are given some access to livelihood. Now, we have 3 safe spaces. In one of the safe spaces, we teach the girls 1 year of residential training, which can be English, computer, basic English, and all. These are girls who don't want to pursue educations. They do different types of, stitching, weaving, crochet, different things, creating bags, designing bed sheets and all, making jewelries and all. Once they pass out, we give them a machine and some seed money. For this, every month, we have around 60 girls, 50 to 60 girls in 3 safe spaces. Apart from the 10 survivors working with me in the team, I give them stipends. So this is one way of rehabilitation. We help them in drafting victim compensation. We help them in legal aid. We provide them with all the skills. There are study tours conducted, there are exchange programs conducted, everything for a year. Apart from that, there is a second group of rehabilitation where girls want to do little bit of more upgraded skilling, like coding, graphic designing. There is there is digital marketing. So we send them to different organizations where they do it free of cost for a year, because we have MOUs with other organizations. The third is girls who wants to do follow formal system of education. So it can be nursing, it can be hotel management and all of that. We have tie up with organizations where they learn how to make jewelries with burning clays, 9-month certification course. We have collaborations with some hotels where the girl can go as a trainee and learn how to, work in a 5-star hotel. So these are the rehabilitation ways. The ones that you are saying about, collecting saris and all, that is if somebody requests us. Because one belief that we as an organization we have is that we hardly do any charity. We don't believe in the concept of charity because we believe that आप charity करोगे तो आप लोगों को हाथ पैर move करने के लिए वो कर दोगे, आप kind of you will make them crippled. So we don't do charity. Also, most of the times, if anybody wants to help us with all this, like whether it can be a drive for a rickshaw wala in summers, or it can be a survivor's wedding, or it will be saris for survivors' families, we tell them to send things in kind, because we personally feel that kind may people give more and people are there's a sense of credibility also. Apart from them, for example, agar koi family bolte hai Amazon mein bahut mehanga hai, then we tell them you send in the address. Aur agar bahut log interested hote hain to tell them to send amount. Our main challenges are what you call running the survivors. The survivors per month cost is around 2500 to 3000 एक survivor का. तो उसीलिए हमारे 3 सेंटर में ही बहुत ज्यादा वो चला जाता है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम ट्रेनर्स के फीस है, then the graduation where they pass out, that cost is there. So now we have a group of survivors we are vending masalas and selling them in the villages. If things go well, we are trying to make it in a better place. We are selling the products made by the survivors, but they need a little bit of training. Main objective is to give them livelihood, ensure that they are employed, and some amount of education, because we think that empowerment is the only way. We follow a framework: prevention, holistic framework, prevention, rescue, rehabilitation, and empowerment. We follow a holistic framework because people think that rescue करने के बाद काम खत्म हो गया. No, it's nothing like that. रेस्क्यू करने से आपका काम खत्म नहीं हो जाता है. आपको रेस्क्यू के सिवा भी आपको बहुत कुछ करना पड़ता है. स्पेशली आपको उनके मेंटल हेल्थ की काउंसलिंग करनी पड़ती है, उनके PTSD देखना पड़ता है, उनके रोजगार का व्यवस्था करना पड़ता है. बिकॉज at the end of the day, we have to understand that unless and until women have some financial independence, violence is something that they will have to face.
Any of these women, Pallavi, once you rescue them, once you, let's say, empower them to be able to stand on their own feet financially, do they go back to their hometowns?
Yeah, of course. All of them are with their families. Families accept them. We do counseling with families. We do, regular outreach with families. We do community outreach. We create village response committees. We create anti-trafficking clubs. We work with law enforcement. We do a bottom-up approach. We don't do conferences, workshops, seminars in big cities, in 5-star hotels. No. My organization till the last 3 years has never gone for it. But if you look at it, 20 to 25 days, we do outreach in villages. We follow a bottom-up approach. We have to nip the crime in the source. We cannot keep training and talking to researchers, activists. We have to work with people in the community. NGO एक दिन जाके काम करके बता के रिपोर्ट बना के भेज सकता है, सबमिट कर सकता है, लेकिन कम्युनिटी अगर एक्टिव हो गई तो कम्युनिटी ऑन ए डेली बेसिस काम करेगी. Neither police nor NGO nor community CBOs, कोई भी गवर्नमेंट डेली बेसिस पे काम नहीं कर सकता. अगर गांव में सुरक्षा करनी है तो गांव वालों को इन्वॉल्व होना पड़ेगा. सो वी फॉलो दिस थिंग ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ दैट गांव विलेज, of that village community and family. That's what we believe. That's what we have worked on.
Parents feel about you today, Pallavi?
No, I don't have my father, so my mother is there. My mother is not someone who blows the trumpet of her own daughter. She's fine. I do it. She never goes around telling people what I do. She has supported me. Of course, my mother and my sister has supported me, and then my spouse also supported me a lot. Like in terms of this thing, because I travel 20-25 days a month. People ask me that how is your marriage even working? So it's crazy. My spouse says to me that if I was traveling, nobody would have asked this question, but because you are traveling, people ask this question. So family is supported. So I think that is a bit of thing. But I think in every marriage, everybody has to adjust and compromise. So it is from both sides. And then my mother is fine now. Like earlier, initially, families, like extended families, used to be like, what she's doing, she was so good in studies, ye kya red light area mein jati hai, kapdon mein gande lagte hain. But right now they're like, I still remember some of my teachers are like, oh no, we are so proud of you. People who never bothered to even talk to me in school are like, so that's how I see, how people change. So, but at the same time, one has to understand, a lot of people ask me, कि आपको इतना recognition मिला है? But I would say recognition तो बहुत मिला है, but recognition के साथ funding नहीं आती. Like funding is something that comes, people give, like that's a different thing. I am very much appreciative and glad and have gratitude of my individual donors, because they have been such a big support. I've been able to run the organization for the last 3 years only because of them. Only and only because of them. We are applying for funding. We have got all the necessary credentials and hoping to get some funding. So, of course, there are people who cover me on a daily basis. You will see a lot of coverage about my work, but I would request you and people listening to me, please note that coverage is really good, of course, because it brings you a lot of recognition, it makes you famous. But at the same time, with being famous and recognition, you cannot run an organization. To run an organization, you need to create a team. For example, with your thing also, this Trilingo thing that I say, that in order to run it, you need a certain amount of funds. You cannot just keep, you record it, you edit it, you post it. It's like too much on your plate. And that division of labor is very much important. So I think that's very important.
It is, this would be my 18th or 19th podcast, Pallavi. But, I'm feeling a little emotional also. I'm feeling proud also. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed also. Really, I have not met somebody like you who's so selfless. I mean, trust me, Pallavi, I have a corporate job, and A to B to C, you want to rise up the ladder, you want to get better salary. How many women are there? How many people are as selfless as you are? You are actually helping, people, women who don't have any clue about anything to rise up in life. So I'm your biggest fan, I think. I'm going to be your biggest fan and your biggest cheer girl. Um, Thank you so much, Pallavi, for giving me your time. It means so, so much to me. I hope anybody who listens to this episode reaches out to you to, help you run your organization, do more credible work. And the best thing, I'll leave it on that note, that there are many NGOs today floating around in the world, but how many of them actually boast of the fact that we don't go to a 5-star hotel or to a tier 1 city and hold conferences just for the sake of it? We actually go to villages and try and nip it in the bud where the crime is actually happening. So this is not just an NGO for the sake of being an NGO. You are actually doing credible work. God bless you, Pallavi. And to your husband, oh my God, I have one word to say to him, that, when you said that if I was traveling 25 days in a month, nobody would question me. So why should leave it if people are questioning you? How many men can afford to say that? You are blessed. You have such a supportive partner. I hope you keep doing this incredible work, keep reaching out to these women who need your help on a daily basis, because truth be told, prostitution is not something that is going away in a day's time. The network is so large that you don't know where to start and you don't know where to end. It is like a vicious circle of no return. So when you have people like you, I'm sure the women who are being rescued are so, so grateful to you, and women like me are also grateful to you for doing such incredible work.
Thank you so much for calling me, and I hope your this podcast becomes very popular, because it's good, that you are recording voices of people, who are working for like different causes. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Pallavi. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.